What would you do if you were tied up, starving, and surrounded by men who saw you as nothing more than an animal? This was the horrifying reality for Lila Byrne. She hadn't eaten in 2 days, and the sun beating down on Dodge City was merciless. As she trembled on the rough wooden boards of the wagon, her cracked lips whispered a desperate, almost silent plea. Please, do it quick. But what happened next would shock everyone. The crowd gathered around the wagon wasn't there to save her. They were there to watch a spectacle. In the Old West, justice was swift and often brutal, but this felt different. This felt like a hunt. Lila, barely a woman, was the prey. The men surrounding her weren't lawmen. They were ranchers, drifters, their faces hardened by the unforgiving land. Their leader, a man named Silas, with a scar that twisted his smile into a permanent sneer, stepped forward. He held a length of rope, coiling it slowly, deliberately, his eyes never leaving Lila's. Look at her, Silas boomed, his voice dripping with contempt. A wolf, in sheep's clothing, came to our town, pretending to be one of us. He spat on the ground near her feet. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Some looked on with grim satisfaction, others with a flicker of unease. Lila squeezed her eyes shut, trying to block out the hate-filled faces. She thought of her family, of the promise she'd made to them. She had come to Dodge City, seeking a new life, a safe haven. How had it all gone so terribly wrong? Just as Silas reached for her, a voice cut through the tense air, sharp and clear as a pistol shot. That's enough, Silas. Every head turned. Standing at the edge of the crowd was a lone figure, silhouetted against the blinding sun. He was tall and lean, his hand resting casually on the Colt at his hip. It was Marshal Ethan Vance. He wasn't known for his talkativeness, but when he spoke, people listened. His eyes, the color of a stormy sky, were fixed on Silas. Silas chuckled, a low rumbling sound. Marshal, always sticking your nose where it doesn't belong. This is town business. She's a thief and a liar. Ethan took a slow step forward, the crowd partying for him like water. She's also a human being, he said, his voice dangerously quiet. And in this town, everyone gets a fair trial. Not a public spectacle run by a mob. He stopped just a few feet from the wagon, his gaze shifting from Silas to Lila. For the first time, she saw not pity, but something else in a man's eyes. Respect. The standoff was electric. Silas's men shifted nervously, their hands inching towards their own weapons. The townsfolk held their breath. This was the moment Dodge City would either descend into chaos or uphold the law. Ethan didn't flinch. Untie the girl, Silas, he commanded. Now Silas stared him down, the scar on his face seeming to deepen. The tension stretched thin and fragile, ready to snap. Could one man, even the marshal, stand against a dozen angry men and a bloodthirsty crowd? Suddenly, from the back of the crowd, another voice shouted, "He's right. This ain't the way." An old blacksmith, his face smudged with soot, pushed his way forward. Then a woman, the baker's wife, called out in agreement. One by one, the citizens of Dodge City, who had moments ago been ready for a hanging, began to find their conscience. The tide was turning. The mob was becoming a town again. Silas, seeing his support evaporate, glared at Ethan with pure venom. He knew he was beaten, for today at least. With a grunt of disgust, Silas jerked his head at one of his men, who reluctantly climbed onto the wagon and began cutting Lila's ropes. As the fibers parted, a wave of relief so powerful washed over her that she nearly collapsed. Ethan was there in an instant, helping her down from the wagon, his grip firm and steady. "You're safe now," he said softly, his stormy eyes softening for a moment. He handed her his canteen, and she drank greedily. The cool water, a balm to her parched throat, but safety was a fleeting concept in the West. As Ethan escorted Lila towards the marshal's office, Silas's parting words hung in the air like a curse. "This ain't over, Vance. That girl will bring ruin to this town, and you with it." Lila looked up at the marshal, a man who had just saved her life, and saw the weight of that threat settle on his shoulders. He had won the battle, but she knew, with a chilling certainty, that the war for her survival and, for the soul of Dodge City, had only just begun. What dark secrets had she brought with her? And what price would Ethan Vance have to pay for his act of courage? The sun was setting, casting long, ominous shadows across the dusty street, and the future felt as uncertain as the coming night. Thank you so much for watching this story unfold. If you were captivated by the courage of Marshal Vance and the mystery of Lila Byrne, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. We have so many more tales from the Old West coming your way, and you won't want to miss what happens next. Ring that notification bell so you're the first to know when our next video drops. We appreciate your support more than you know. See you in the next one.